Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic audio related products. Well, today we're taking a look at a new camera. Well, it's a new camera for me. It's actually fairly new anyway, and it is the OM System OM5. The OM System OM5. Originally Olympus, but a company called JIP, Japanese Industrial Partners, bought out the Olympus camera division. I think some of their audio division as well, but bought out the camera division specifically. And they changed the name to OM System, and hence the reason it's got the OM System badge along the top of the camera where the viewfinder is. Now, this particular camera is very similar to the Olympus EM5 Mark III, the OMD EM5 Mark III. In fact, it shares so much DNA from it, the body is identical. It is exactly the same body as the Olympus EM5 Mark III. This one is great for going out and about. It's great for vlogging because of its lightweight. It's only about 428 grams body only. And with the lens, depending on what lens, you're not adding much weight to that. So it's a very, very lightweight, very durable. It's got a really good weather sealing to it, so you can take it out in storms, you can take it out in really bad weather. It has the same 20 megapixel micro four thirds sensor that the EM5 Mark III has inside the camera body. So the image quality is going to be pretty much identical to the EM5 Mark III. Now, because I already did own the EM5 Mark III, I've got many sample images taken with my EM5 Mark III. I'll go through some of the images I've taken with the OMD System OM5 soon. They're on the computer here. They are up on my SmugMug page, so I would highly recommend you take a look at them on SmugMug as opposed to studying them on my YouTube channel, because you'll get a better look at how good the images are. You get a better understanding of how good the images are rather than looking at them on here. Now, it has got the 3-inch articulating screen, which is pretty synonymous with modern day cameras. So you can actually articulate the screen out. Great for low angle shots, high angle shots, and obviously great for video, great for vlogging. I use them all the time in the studio here. Although my two ZV-E10s, I've got external monitors plugged into them, so I can actually see clearer what I'm doing. Now, the EM5 Mark III, as I say, has the 3-inch articulating screen. It's got in-body image stabilization, so that is absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the reasons I love this camera for. It has got a fairly traditional top plate, the same as the EM5 Mark III, exactly the same, because I say it's the same body design. So you've got your two command dials, and that is really nice. They fall in the right place when you're holding the camera. So you've got your thumb on the back dial and your other finger on the front dial, fall there beautifully. It hasn't got a joystick for setting the autofocus points, but that is fine by me, because you can actually move your autofocus points by looking through the viewfinder, and you can use your thumb to move your autofocus points, and that works absolutely excellent. Very, very fast, it's intuitive, and it's snappy, so I'm happy with that. Also, you can set your autofocus points just by touching the screen on the back here, and that will set your autofocus point. And you can actually use the command dial to actually set what size that autofocus point needs to be. Now, the on-off switch is on the top plate, which is a little bit annoying because it's on the other side. So it's a two-handed job when you're out and about to turn the camera on and off. So I'm very used to my Sony cameras where I can just flick the switch on the front and that will turn it on and off. With this camera, you've got to turn it on and off by the a dial on the top there, but you can pre-assign this function lever to be your on-off switch. So I've got a function lever on the back here, position 1, position 2. You can set that to be your on-off switch. I've actually got that set for position 1 for taking photographs, and position 2 to very quickly set video. So you can go into a video mode by flicking it over to position 2, rather than having to set it to video mode on the command dial, the PASM dial. And I find that really quick as a hybrid shooter. I find that so much quicker, so much more flexible, being able to do it that way. But he can set this function lever up to be the on-off switch, and you can set it up for other parameters as well. But that's what I've got it set up for. It's got various function buttons, quite a few function buttons actually. It's got 2 along the top there, and there's another one there. It's got one on the front here, and it's also got a lockable PASM dial on the top, so you can lock that dial so you don't accidentally knock it. I don't bother locking it because I find it's fairly stiff. So you're not gonna, I don't find I accidentally knock that. I find that absolutely fine. A great video camera. They've improved some of the video features in here. It has got the Olympus log profile in here, but it is only an 8-bit camera. It's not a 10-bit like my Sony a6700 is over there. It's only 8-bit, but for me, completely fine. If you're doing YouTube content, social media content, 8-bit filming is completely fine. It's only 10 bits really worthwhile if you're doing a lot of heavy color grading. If you're not doing a lot of color grading, then the 8-bit files are absolutely fine. And there is no video record limit on here now, where with the EM5 Mark III, it had a 30-minute video record limit. This particular model has no video record limit. But there is an issue with that, and I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. But yeah, so no video record limit and no headphone jack, which is really, really disappointing. It has got the mic jack on the side there. It's got HDMI out, mic jack, and it's got USB, micro USB for charging the camera. That's another point I'm going to come back to as well. Very disappointed that they didn't include a USB-C port, but yeah, mic jack and all the other ports on the side there, and I say pretty good flaps because of a really good weather sealing with this particular body. Now for taking stills, it is a great camera. I say image stabilized in the body up to 20 megapixel, although there is a handheld high-res shot mode. It's very easy to get to. You just click on the OK button, click on the OK button there. So the OK button brings up this sub-menu, and you go into where it's highlighted at the moment, which is your drive mode. Turn the front dial, oh, it's gone off. Turn the front dial, that brings up, you can see there now it's gone into high-res shot mode, and then you can take up to 50 megapixel handheld shots, or 80 megapixel if you mount it on a tripod. So if I just take a quick snap now, you'll see it takes a while to process the image out. So if we just take a quick snap there, I ain't going to focus on anything. Can you see that? Now that's actually saying busy because it's actually processing that 50 megapixel file. It's using the image stabilization to combine several images together to create a 50 megapixel image. You can see that it takes quite a long time to do. So it's not something you're going to want to use if you're taking fast action, because it isn't going to work. It's about 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds per image. So ideal if you're taking architecture, buildings, or something that isn't moving. Maybe you're doing macro shots, could be watches, could be jewellery, could be anything. That in itself isn't going to be a problem if you're waiting, 4 or 5 seconds for it to process the image. But it has got that limited, but it has got that high-res shot mode. And then if you want to view it, just hit the play button, and then you can view the image, you can zoom in, and you can do all the usual things you would want to do. It has got built-in neutral density, electronic neutral density filters. That is great for slowing down the shutter speed if you want to create nice effects with water, particularly water and that sort of thing. Only works in stills, it doesn't work in video. So you can't use that if you're out filming and you need to put an ND filter on. You will have to manually screw an ND filter or a variable ND filter to the front of the lens. Not a big deal. Would have been nice if it worked in video, but it doesn't. So there you have it. Now, as far as video is concerned, as I say, it is an 8-bit camera, but this no video record limit is great, and it's a great feature that they've put it in. But because the USB port is micro USB, you can charge the battery internally, so you can plug it into a USB power block and charge the battery, and I've done that and that works fine. But you can't power the camera via USB because it isn't a USB-C port. Now in the studio here, I'm running these cameras on quite a long time when I'm doing my filming, and it's great that I can power them via USB-C. Even my little DJI Pocket 3 has got USB-C power delivery, same as my A6700. So I can leave them running, and I know the batteries are not going to run out, and they've got no video record limit. The issue with the not the EM5 Mark III, the OM5, the issue with the OM5, although there is no video record limit, your battery is likely to run out, you know, before the actual record limit comes up anyway. So I'm a bit annoyed really that I almost said Olympus, the OM system haven't put a USB-C port on here so you can power it. So a bit of a downside. You can charge a battery when it's turned off. The minute you turn the camera on, the USB-C charging doesn't work, or the USB power delivery doesn't work. So that is, you know, annoying. Also, the data transfer rate is going to be slower via the micro USB than it would be if it was USB-C. That don't bother me because I take the SD card out of the camera. One nice thing is they've put the same as the EM5 III, they've got the SD card slots on the side of the camera. Not many people really point that out, but I find that is very, very, very useful. But it's on the side of the camera as opposed to in with a battery compartment. So when you have got this on a tripod or a grip or whatever, you don't need to take the tripod off or take it off its grip, because the card slot access is on the side of the camera. So that is awesome. The fact there's no headphone jack, well, you can use wireless microphones or gun microphones that have got a headphone jack in the microphone. That does help in some respects. At least you know you're going to get clean audio, but it's not a guarantee that that audio is being transferred to the camera. Yeah, other than that, you know, I'm loving its compact size. And the fact that it is exactly the same body design, or is the same body as the EM5 Mark III, it uses the same accessories. Like I've got this little grip, which I normally keep on it, but I've got this little grip, which is great. That works with me EM5 Mark III. That now works perfectly with my OM5. The other thing that I have noticed with the OM5, and I'm sure it's the same on the EM5 III, I've got at the moment an Olympus lens fitted to it, so that works fine. They work in combination perfectly, and it also works well with Panasonic lenses. So I've been using it with my Panasonic f2.8 12-35 lens, and I've been using it with my little 14mm lens. But one thing I have noticed, that if I leave the image stabilization turned on this Panasonic lens, the images come out actually quite soft, and you can see camera shake, you can see camera movement in the image, even at fairly moderate shutter speeds, like 1/60th or 1/80th of a second. And I couldn't fathom that out. But the minute I turned off the image stabilization on the lens, the images were sharper. There will be more videos about the OM5, obviously, as I use it more. Now if we look at a few images. Now this one was taken with the 12-35, but with the image stabilization turned off. And you can see you're getting some cracking images. It is a nice lens. It's the Mark I version, not the Mark II of that lens. But you get some cracking images, really nice images. And again, Micro Four Thirds is a really nice format. Although it's only a 20 megapixel sensor, you can print these up really large. But I would just avoid cropping them too tight, you know, afterwards, because 20 megapixel really doesn't give you a lot of leg room for cropping, although you can do it. As far as image quality, beautiful. It will stand up against images from any other camera. There's no doubt about that at all. I like the colours, the renditions, the sharpness. This sensor is a nice sensor, and the fact that it's got amazing image stabilization really does make it a worthwhile camera if you do need to set slower shutter speeds. Maybe you have got shaky hands, then you know, this sort of camera would be ideal for that sort of person, that sort of scenario. But yeah, amazing images and a great little video camera. Now it has got 121 phase detect autofocus point. They're all cross type phase detect autofocus points, so great for picking out the eye, great for picking out the face. And I have found subject tracking to be pretty decent on the OM5, nothing like it is on my Sony a6700 or even my ZV-E10, but it's pretty decent and ideal for photographs. Video picks out the face and the eye perfectly again because it is phase detect autofocus. It's not reliant on contrast detect autofocus, which a lot of the Panasonic cameras are reliant on. Now, I've done some vlogging in the garden with this particular camera, and I've done it on 3 modes because it has got fantastic image stabilization. I used just the sensor shift stabilization for the first clip. Then I did another clip using sensor shift and digital stabilization, and the third clip is with no stabilization. The OM System OM5 is a great vlogging camera. It handles very similar actually to the EM5 Mark III. In fact, it's pretty much identical. I've got it set to shutter priority, and I've got my Panasonic 14mm lens on the camera body. Now, I could do with a wider angled lens, but I don't have one for my Micro Four Thirds system, so this is as wide as it's going to get. This is with sensor shift and electronic stabilization turned on. It has cropped it in a little bit tighter, so not ideal for this particular lens. I say it's a 14mm lens, which is about 28mm in 35mm full frame terms. So it's a little bit tighter. I've now turned off all the image stabilization, so it'll probably be quite bad, to be honest. But I mean, you don't need to do that with OM System cameras. They are designed to be used with the image stabilization because it does have great in-body image stabilization. So there were 3 clips there on the camera being used as a vlogging camera in 3 different modes. And as I said earlier, the last clip was really shaky. It just goes to show how good the image stabilization is on this particular camera. I do love my OM5. I think I'll be using it a great deal purely because it's so compact and it's lightweight. It's easy to take out and about with me. So there we go. That's a quick look at the OM System OM5. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you like the content of my videos. Would really appreciate that, and it does help me grow the channel. Thanks very much. Cheers for now. Bye.